How scary is this horror story? Let's find out. Hello Fanatics, I'm Phillips and this is the Film Fanatic review bringing you Unsane, starring Claire Foy, Joshua Leonard, and Jay Pharoah. First, we'll tell you what the movie is about, and our initial thoughts. Then we'll move on to our spoiler-free likes and dislikes. We'll finish up with some spoiler-heavy thoughts on this film, and our final word. Unsane follows the story of a young woman who is involuntarily committed to a mental institution where she believes her stalker is working. Overall, this was a decent thriller. It's definitely more good than bad, but it is quite forgettable. For what I liked about this film, let's start off with the performances. Jay Pharoah and Joshua Leonard do great in their respective roles despite their limited character development, but this film is driven by Claire Foy's performance. She commands this film with a truly complex and emotional performance that embodies the themes of paranoia and dread. Speaking of the themes, they are handled beautifully by Soderbergh in his unique storytelling for this film. Using an iPhone 7 as his camera, Soderbergh brings an almost home video quality to this story, and paired with a claustrophobic feeling of the cinematography, creates a rising tension that embodies a plausible nightmare scenario. However, this nightmare scenario becomes muddled and lost as the story goes into a lot of mismatched subplots. The two main situations that the protagonist is facing are at ends with one another because the stronger of the two has no physical foe, causing the storytelling to change direction and focus on the only antagonist present. This in turn removes the fear that has been built through the exploration of the first storyline in place of a predictable stalker story. And I found that the setup for this story took a little too long considering how short the runtime of this film is. And that's where I'll end our spoiler-free thoughts on this film. If you want to hear our final word or rating of this film, pause now and click the link in the description, because now it's time for spoilers. So I wanted to explain a little bit as to why I believe the subplots hindered the fearful nature of this story. As Sawyer is admitted to the hospital, she becomes a prisoner of a system that hopes to exploit her as a resource. She's lost her freedom, no one believes her, and she begins to think maybe she's crazy. At this point, her stalker emerges and the story shifts focus, showing he is in fact real and she isn't crazy. It would have been more frightening if it took until the end of the film to realize he is physically there and discover his motives then. This would have allowed the story to continue with the psychological horror of feeling trapped and questioning one's sanity instead of becoming a very specific stalker story. And the best scenes to me were the first appointment, when Sawyer gets strapped down, the forest scene, and the final restaurant scene. So, with the thoughts heard, here's our final word. Unsane is a creepy psychological thriller that uses its unique cinematography to create a claustrophobic world. While the performances lift this story's sense of fear and plausibility, the shift in focus destroys that momentum and brings it down a more predictable path. This film isn't groundbreaking, but it may cause one sleepless night, so I'm gonna give Unsane a 6.5. Thanks everyone for watching our review. Are you planning on seeing Unsane, or if you've already seen it, do you have something to add? What did you think of the story? Let us know in the comments below. I'm Phillips and this has been the Film Fanatic Review. If you liked this video and you want to see more, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Check out our latest Fanatic 5 video where we discuss the top Natalie Portman roles. Don't forget to follow us on our social media. And until next time, Fanatics, keep it real.